It's really good. I like it. I'm sold. Done.
10% more intelligent. Let's raise that to 12. All right, guys. Looks like
Can
we
we
do
just
have
go
a
into the game,
we
please?
do have a game.
Yeah.
We do have a game. We're in the draft stage. Before starting the game, before watching the draft, predictions for this game. Secret Cloud9, guys.
Secret wins.
Secret.
Secret.
I guess I go Cloud9.
Okay.
Even though I don't believe in it.
Even after the falling out between Luminem and EE Sama, you still got your boy Jackie Mouse
No,
back.
we're still like this.
Okay.
You close?
We're close.
Nice.
Maybe.
Sure.
Let's go into the game. Let's watch the axe.
All right. So Cloud9 banning very interestingly. We were just talking about thinking Enchantress isn't that strong compared to Chen, but banned first phase here.
It's all mind games.
Yeah, it feels like this is a
It's
lot
like
of mind
now
games.
you cannot possibly not want to pick Chen, and we want to counter your Chen. So
The Cloud9 bans look totally off the wall. Bristleback they did run once yesterday. Enchantress, not a hero that you
there's a
didn't
Chen.
necessarily expect, but secrets look very standard. They banned the Bone 7 Bat. They banned the
They
Big
got the
Daddy
bait.
Wisp.
they baited them into Chen by banning Enchantress. Well, let's see it work. Yeah.
Axe is pretty decent against Chen.
Yeah, he's also decent against Enchantress. He's even better against Enchantress.
That's true.
So it's like a little weird. I'm not sure. I think there's some intel from scrims here.
How
Banning Bristle Enchantress is a really weird opener. So
Yeah. What do you feel like? I remember when Chen was a thing. One of the reasons why Chen disappeared, one of the reasons, was because of Midas' game in 679.
Okay.
Because Midas would just immediately destroy a creep, and also Doom being very popular. We see an Omni Knight Axe right now, which I think there is some synergy into call heal.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So if you're secret right now, yesterday they ran this with a Brood, a Lion, and an Axe. So they're not going to get the Axe, obviously. I feel like out of those, Cloud9 could deal with the Brood. Like you don't really need to ban that hero. So that's not going to be the direction Secret goes here.
I want to see a Timbersaw.
I want to see Bloodseeker.
Timbersaw's good so far. It's obviously double melee strength, so he destroys that completely.
Yeah, I mean Repel is pretty good against it.
Repel is good,
You can't
but
repel everyone.
it's about timing it and finding the window when it's there. It's also the fact that whenever you run Omni Knight, so the really main weakness of Timbersaw as an offlaner is that he's actually fairly easy to harass away and keep at bay. He doesn't have any way of distorting the creep equilibrium unless he comes really close with his skills. Yes, he has reactive armor, but you don't really skill that on level 1. You want the chain so you can get away. So, however, if you're playing against a support Omni Knight, how much pressure can they really put on you with that lane? And suddenly your Timbersaw can actually start finding levels. I think he works really well in a lineup with Chen that's looking to force towers fairly early on. Chakram is really good to zone enemies out and allow you to push. Good spell burst overall, and can commit a little bit more when he has that backup heal as well. So I could see that working as a
How is Cloud9 going to put pressure on the Shadow Fiend? Like Axe, Omni Knight? Do we see them? I don't see those heroes doing much to him in the laning stage.
No.
And it
I don't-
seems
I
like
don't think-
generally when Shadow Fiend gets a free lane early on, that teams are punished for
The
it.
thing is that none of those heroes is going to be on Shadowfiend's lane.
Right.
Like,
But I just looking at this opening, they got to get something to pressure him, or they have to be getting great trades
Well,
elsewhere.
Cloud9 yesterday when they picked Omni, they also picked a Troll with it. So, I mean, Troll versus Shadow Fiend, that should be a
That's a
decent.
good lane.
Yeah,
That's good lane, yeah.
it's also nice versus the Chen as well.
Alternatively, Cloud9 could go for the Viper, which should still do well against Shadow Fiend in lane, and it fits pretty well with the idea of their lineup, which is to tank up and go into fights, right? I think Viper could definitely work so far.
then you lack kind of a very good damage dealer late
yes.
game.
So then they will, if they do that, they'll probably have to either jungle the Axe or offlane him, which might not be the plan right now, but that's definitely true. They'll need another carry.
How would
what else does-
Alternatively, a Morphling wouldn't be a bad choice either, I think, for Cloud9. It's also one of Eternal Envy's best heroes. I think we've not seen that enough. Other hero that comes to mind, Luna, does not do too well against Chen.
No.
So I guess.
Yeah.
There's always Puck as a classic Fada hero. Gives you a bit of everything. Matches up okay in lane.
But doesn't really beat Shadow
Yeah,
Fiend
it
that
doesn't beat
hard.
Shadow
though.
Fiend.
I want to point out that both teams are completely ignoring the Juggernaut right now.
Yep. It's also
I think it seems to me like they don't think he's that strong. To
Well,
be
the
honest.
thing is, I don't think neither of these lineups is particularly weak against Juggernaut.
No,
like-
Jug's not that great against Chen. You've got Hand of God, the creeps to tank the Omni Slash.
And it's not that
Axe-
great against
and
Omni
Axe
Knight
is-
or
Yeah, I don't think it's a Jug game. I don't think we see him.
No.
Ooh, the Curl
Rubik.
Rubik. Should
Yeah.
be good.
If you weren't here by TI 3 times, I think Kuro would play Rubik
Every
25 out of 30 games.
game. Yeah.
He is extremely good against Omni Knight, I want to say.
Yeah.
All the 3 spell steals are incredibly valuable.
And
It's
better on Rubik.
and better because you don't have a cast point. It's also he has an instant stun against Omni Knight in the telekinesis. If you get in range, you can disallow Omni Knight from casting the combo, which is something Team Secret didn't have so far. No silence or stun, so it's a good setup. Also, if you precast it, if you see Axe and you're expecting him to blink in, you can cast telekinesis before he blinks, and you actually disallow him from using his combo, which is huge. It's kind of similar to what we see sometimes where you precast silence with Skywrath on targets that are
or like
about to blink
Hex a
in.
hero before they
Or
get
Hex
swapped.
before
yeah.
they swap, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So if you have good vision, which is something Chen is pretty good at getting with the creeps, if you run them in front of the fight, Rubik can counter out X very nicely, I think.
Secret looking pretty standard, I guess, for how they're playing right now. This is a strong dual roaming combo. Gives Puppy a jungler that can take a bit of extra personal time in the woods. The Shadow Fiend pickup well aligned with what they've been doing as of late. Cloud9 has been kind of odd with their opener. Now they go for the Legion Commander. Probably your Bone 7 hero, but it's a triple melee draft thus far.
Man,
Yeah.
Against the Shadow
this
Fiend. That is just
this
a dream.
Timber Saw just keeps on getting better, I'm telling you. It's so good right now.
Yeah.
Sure, you can get dueled with Timber, but as so far for Cloud9's lineup, I think dealing with the Timber is going to be difficult. And even if they get the duel off, Rubik can steal it. Rubik can lift the Legion Commander so she can't do damage during the duel. And as a result of that, they go for Queen of Pain because she is like Timber Saw.
Not at all.
Exactly. Like
She has some pure
Damn,
damage.
I just
out
really
there.
want to see it. I feel like this is such a good Timber Saw game, and it's such a great hero to
Well,
watch.
no,
Very
wait,
interesting.
Sonic Wave goes through.
Queen
the repel.
Queen of Pain,
Yes.
like Sonic Wave goes through repel. That
So
is
there's
pretty,
that.
and also goes through Guardian Angel, of course.
They could still get it,
magic
though.
damage is really nice against Axe as well. You have call, who
Yes.
cares?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
And that's one of the strengths of Shadow Fiend as your core as well, as your carry.
He has a
against
really good
Axe.
mix of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my question now is: do you think we're gonna see the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane or in the safe lane?
I
Probably mid,
think-
I'm guessing.
So this Queen of Pain might be going off lane with how weak Cloud9's laning is so far.
Yeah,
If they
like
wanna
who's
do
gonna
that.
zone a Queen of Pain out?
They
right
can't
now?
really do that. She beats every melee hero in lane, apart from something like Brood or Darkseer, like the odd ones out.
Oh.
Okay.
She does not be sniper.
No.
She does
That
not
was
be
also
sniper.
Cloud9 pulled that strategy out yesterday with Omni Sniper,
And
they won
Troll.
the game.
They had a
they had
Troll with
Troll
it,
as
yeah.
well.
And I think Troll is a big part of that, right?
Yeah,
The
because
attack
that
speed.
made the sniper actually not
Yeah.
be a Kilton.
Be a machine gun,
Yeah.
basically.
And if Cloud9 do get a really farm right-click carry, technically Secret don't have solutions for that. Sure, they can steal repel and stuff, and maybe Guardian
wait.
Angel, but they can't lock like a repelled sniper down at all right now.
Yeah, that is true.
I think the team against it was C deck. They picked a Spectre, and you were saying how good she was in that draft. You get close, you get Diffuso, but there's nothing of that in this game.
Sniper is also pretty good at laning against Shadow Fiend. One of the more annoying
Yes.
heroes to fight against. Can shut him down early if you play it well. I think that's what Cloud9 are concerned with
The
here.
thing is, if you put the sniper versus Shadow Fiend mid, then you get kind of awkward lanes by having to put the Axe in the safe lane with an Omni Knight.
It's not that good indeed. But what they can also do is they can realize, okay, if Team Secret, if it turns out Secret wants to safe lane or safe jungle their Chen, they could jungle the Axe. It's still something I feel like we haven't seen enough in this tournament so far is that teams picking X or Juggernaut are not jungling them, it seems, at all. And sometimes you can really get away with it as a greedy setup, just like when you last pick an Enigma because you see the enemy team has horrible aggressive potential. Why don't you just go full out greed? I mean, a team like Cloud9 must be considering that option, right, if they're playing an Axe. They're historically very greedy. We talked about how they're two new support players. They play more actively and focus less on farming. They have a lineup that has to farm. It's like
Misery-
you cannot play this lineup aggressively early on.
Misery played Jungle Axe in the past before, so it definitely lines up.
And it is
Yes,
really
that is
good.
true, and it's
Yeah.
really good. It is really good.
There was,
Uh,
I remember that game.
The thing is,
he had the most unfortunate death ever. They had a ward, he was like
Oh,
about to
there's-
get
yes.
blink and
Yeah.
got sniped by it was like an ice blast or
no.
rocket
It
or
was
something.
he spun on a Necro Warrior. Like he was.
No,
there was
no,
two
it's a different
instances.
game.
There was two instances. First, he was man fighting somebody, got 0 spins.
Yeah.
Second one, he was getting chased by Necrobooks, got like 8 spins,
It's spins.
and then
Nice.
Necrobook killed him.
Oh,
So it
man.
was just
So I like the spin a lot from Secret. You definitely want a range support here for your Cloud9, and Witch Doctor is really good against Chen dives early on. You dive, the cast really shuts it down.
I also really like the Clockwork Van from Cloud9 because, again, this is all a very, very front-line lineup to defend the sniper. It's going to be very hard, even for the Queen of Pain, to just jump on that sniper and try to get the snipe past the Omni Knight, Axe, and Legion Commander. So banning the Clockwork makes a lot of sense. And now Timber Saw will actually be very good because Timber Chain does fulfill the same purpose as Hookshot. even though more limited in range and less versatile because you do need trees around.
So in this position yesterday, EG picked something like
Wow! Oh my god!
The official
It's-
account tweeted about it. They were teasing the viewers. Everyone thought, Cyborg matched his trolling.
Techies! It's Techies!
All right.
Oh my god, it's safe. No, what is it? It's offlane Techies. It's Zeiss offlane Techies. It's safe lane Shadowfiend with Rubik, mid Queen of Pain, and Chen in the jungle.
Okay,
That's what it is.
on a scale 1 to 10, how bad is this?
It's not bad. Okay,
I mean, I don't. That's not.
Great use of the scale.
So, I mean, what lane do you throw him
okay.
in?
Here's the thing. Like Techies, he still has 7 armor at level 1.
Okay.
He lanes
That's why they picked him for the second round.
No,
great laner against Axe. He's all about the physical damage. When he calls you, you just stand there and you start hitting him for 20.
But no,
and then suddenly you
You
suicide.
chomp down on your cigar.
Sniper tickles. That Crystal Maiden is surprising to me.
I will say they have 3 melee heroes that are likely to be in the front lines. And
Strength heroes.
Techies likes melee heroes, man.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Sin, you're our brilliant analyst here. What are you thinking, buddy?
Techies is one of those heroes that I have no idea how to.
You haven't even begun to plumb the depths. It's the
I-
Mariana Trench of
Like
Dota.
whenever I look over the hero pool of Dota, I feel like Techies just doesn't fit in a way. Does that make sense? It's just
Yes,
the
yes.
design of
It's
the
a hero from other games
Yes,
that was
it's-
ported into Dota.
It's like you take Team Fortress 2 or something and you put it into Dota.
I think you were
Or
gonna say
you
League.
You take an engineer from Battlefield or whatever, and
You
you
take
put it in
Teemo.
there. It's just so.
It's flying over everyone.
It's very difficult for me to call because I feel like Techies, in the right hands, can be extremely good. Like I've generally said for me, Techies is the worst hero in the game. If I had to pick one hero that's the worst hero in the game, I would say Techies. But I've played against some fairly decent Techies in pubs, and it's extremely frustrating. But if you have experience playing against it, if you're good at it, and if you're playing as a team,
Wait.
it's very different from publics, right?
Go to Secret for a
Any
second.
sort
with
of
us.
true sight, and you can possibly deal with it.
so he's going to
and
TP
you
out.
can fall-
Looks like
fall
he'll
off
be
really
starting to
Okay.
drop
really
some
hard,
mines
but-
early on.
I honestly don't know what to expect. It's extremely. I feel like that hero is just hit or miss. It's like the ultimate hit or miss hero. He has some games where he's great and other games where he's completely useless. Now the thing is, Cloud9 might not have any experience playing against it in scrims or in anything like that. They at least
Trying to
haven't played
catch them
against the
going for
official
this
games.
first ward. This could be huge.
That's not enough to kill.
No, it's not.
needs
It's
to put
2,
They're
right?
setting up though. They're bringing the Queen of Pain.
And
And he's almost dead.
Oh! Oh!
Almost too early. Now he's just back to the well.
Well, the thing is, I guess he spent a fountain trip, which is
Not
okay.
worth-
If he
because
was in
doesn't
range for a
have-
Shadow Strike, that's well, maybe Big Daddy gets third time, but they needed that third mine down. Still, that would have been pretty sick.
I think this is in a way a win for Cloud9.
What, they pay techies? Yeah, it's a
That
win.
they didn't
because they picked Techies. But also because you spent the clarity there and you lost your mine setup. So yeah. By the way, we're gonna leave you because the game started right now. So LD and SyndereN are going to continue with this. Guys, take it away and good luck. This is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of the oddest games of the tournament so far, at least that I have cast. Just from the draft alone, this game cannot be a normal game. I can't imagine it being like, oh yeah, it's just like all the other games we've seen so
Yeah.
far. It's like
This is whatever.
nothing
Standard
fits in.
Techies offlane game. This is. I'm not
Techies
even
offlane,
excited.
The first Crystal Maiden pick we've seen, which I was thinking, okay, what's good about Crystal Maiden? When you're frostbitten, you can't suicide. That has to be the number one reason they picked it. I don't know.
They're
I'm not
pretty
sure.
mana dependent in general, I would say.
I have a question that I was thinking about what your opinion is on when we were doing the draft and talking about Sniper. When the new headshot came out, people were like, wow, this is going to be really bad. And I was, the moment I saw it, I felt like, okay, you can't interrupt teleports and channeling spells anymore, but I think this is going to be, the new headshot's going to be really damn good. Especially in carry versus carry situations, if Sniper has a Mask of Madness, you can't fight him. That attack speed slow is ridiculous on headshot. If you have a lane like Shadowfiend versus Sniper, and Sniper does fairly well in the start, so he can get ahead, he can just constantly lay into the Shadowfiend, especially in the mid game. It's
The one issue is that you can't really like heroes that have nukes to farm though still farm pretty well.
Yes.
Like
They
you
also
can't
do with the
really
old headshot,
That's
though.
true. But
So-
well, sometimes you can interrupt them as they're in the
That's
test
true, yeah.
animation, which you can't do anymore. But man, I guess we should try to quickly run through our lineups here. As we've got Secret on the Radiant side, currently undefeated, sitting at 3-0. You have Puppy on his signature Chen, Going to the safe lane, Kuroki the Rubik. S4 going to be playing your Queen of Pain in that lane. Arteezy going mid and actually posting up here quite a bit on Eternal Envy. He's got only the long range raise, not enough to get the kill.
Oh, he gets
now
level
he's
3.
level 3. He's got to be a little. Uh-oh, EE. Careful, my friend. He's playing with the Tiger. And then top lane, Zai the off lane Techies. As for Cloud9,
I was about to say he was harassing Axe, but not really.
He's really just pressuring the crap out of this sniper early on with the help of Puppy. But yeah, fought on your Axe. And the jungle is Crystal Maiden. That's being handled by Misery. Mid lane, going to be Eternal Envy. EE, Jackie Mao taking on Artur Babev. As Big Daddy looks like he got cliffed by Kuroki. He'll be on your Omni Knight, and that does leave Bone 7 as the offlane Legion commander.
How much damage does Zai do to Fata if he Stout Shield procs? So it blocks
like almost 0.
It blocks. So Techies deals 35 damage. He has 5 armor, so he blocks 25%
It
of
blocks
that.
over 50%, and then you've got the armor reduction.
He takes
as well.
like 7 damage, and he has a natural regen of 4, which means every time the Stout Shield procs, it's not worth the attack. But Techies has got an Orb of Venom.
All right, so magic gem. easy
What's
counter.
going on? This is like the most random thing I think I've ever seen in a competitive game. Offlane Techies with Orb of Venom.
Zai is getting bullied pretty hard here. Now the call comes out. This could be your first blood top lane. Spin to win. Fata makes it easy.
Man, but he has 7 armor though.
Big Daddy is
Don't
still
forget.
cliff though. I mean, this is a big win for Secret. They just have an Omni Knight doing nothing here. Finally, the courier going to come in and try to deliver that TP.
The thing I really like, though, when you pick Techies, I'm a big fan of giving him fast levels. So I like the fact that they're seeing the opportunity to solo offlane him and quickly get him up to level 6. Because what you often see in Techies games is that the Techies is going to be like level 4 at minute 15. Just having planted mines. If you don't find the mine kills, you lose all your momentum in the game.
And it's a very level-dependent hero.
Yes.
Mines you really want to max. The stasis trap is
again,
incredible.
Axe
but
gets
he's
the
just-
call.
He's getting wrecked.
Yeah. He really is. He still has 5 CS, though. He'll be getting CS all the time when he drops mines for it. But yeah, I think the game plan for Secret here might be to get Techies up to level 6 or 7, and then take him off the map. Just start randomly placing mines in different locations, remotes as well, and then you could offlane the Rubik and get him up to level 6 as well. So you get the key levels early, because right now Kuroki will not be leveling that fast. He
Does suicide. He was being dove by Fata. Fata not going to go
almost got
down,
the
though.
kill.
Barely able to survive there.
And yeah, we should mention, so since composite damage was removed, both the mines and Suicide Squad attack do physical only. And that means armor is now a lot better against Techies than it was before, because the magical part is non-existent in those 2 mines. However, remotes are of course strictly magical damage. So it's having Tranquil Boots on Axe is actually very important. He has 7 armor against the Techies, which should not be underestimated. That's very, very relevant for the lane. He survived suicide because of that. If he hadn't had Tranquils, he would have died.
Yeah, that's true. He had 1 more tower attack and he's done for. But Fata just continuing to really pressure Zai in the offlane. Like you said, though, he is getting levels. Level 4, 4.5 minutes in. Yeah, he's died twice. Once giving up the first blood to Cloud9, but he's still getting a lot out of the offlane.
And it's also the mental game of how it affects the game when you're playing against Techies. That's also one of the ways in which he is totally different from every other hero in the game. It's
He's
just
like an extreme version of Pudge in some ways.
yes, exactly. Zai. I've
No
seen this movie
suicide.
before.
Oh
the
my.
Techies usually dies. Yep, same movie. 3rd edition.
I think there's only one version.
He suicided in the sequel.
Yeah. This is a bird fest here. We've got all kinds of big birds moving around. The Wildkin double tornado strat coming out as Secret. Look to make a move here on the bottom lane. Big Daddy's posting up. He takes a scream and with this lift, there's no getting out. He'll drop. Secret getting on the board with their first kill of the game and making up for that feed Lord Techies in the offlane. What do you think the plan is for the Techies later on, though? Like, you mentioned how they'll use him in the lane, but what is the overall goal of picking Techies? Like, what are they picking him for? The traps?
I think the absolute strongest thing about Techies is the map control. Gives great vision. He makes it very difficult for the enemy team to move around with confidence. Even if you smoke, you can still just get caught by a mine and die, as we see them trying to get Arteezy. Might backfire here, as he does land 1 raise, but can't get the second one onto Misery. But it's the map control. It's the
It's the poor Techies.
Oh, okay.
He tried to leave the base. He's immediately going to go down as he continues to really play aggressive on Arteezy, but he's got to be careful. The map control, you were saying.
Yeah, so if you play Techies together with some super late game, that can be very powerful because it's very difficult to push against, it's very difficult to map control against, but there are only real late gamers. The Shadow Fiend, who is certainly a great hero and does very well in late game, but it's not your classic.
Arteezy is just styling on Cloud9. He finds two. It looks like he'll probably get chopped here.
Oh, it missed.
Maybe not with the haste. Oh, unfortunate. Now he's going to walk up the hill, end up surviving. It's only a level 1 battle hunger, I believe. And he ends up making it out. Arteezy skating to freedom. Oh my. Well, the Techies pick might not be panning out thus far, but Arteezy certainly getting some work done here mid. And part of it does come back to Puppey. His creeps applying pressure early on the sniper. That made life a lot easier, but Arteezy already paying back that investment.
All right, he's going to grab his treads and head back to the mid lane in just a moment. And I think this mid lane right now, because of the pressure Puppey put on it, it's won already, right? Even if the sniper starts trying to harass the Shadow Fiend, he's already high level. He's level 8, has the level 4 raises. Will always be getting the runes. That's another thing that sniper can't really contest him in. So that part of the game is looking good for a Secret. I'm still not seeing the Techies being that useful yet. He died all 4 times though, so that means the other heroes are 3-0.
Yeah, that's good. It's good math, Sin.
Thank you.
They're going to smoke.
God damn it, Dave.
Early smoke. Well, I guess they have some cool killing combos here. Like you have the lift into a stomp, you drop a mine, maybe just suicide there. Ideally, you want to avoid too many suicide kills, though.
He's taking another raise. We'll throw an assassinate back into Artur's face, but it looks like he has absolutely no idea that this is happening. All right, he's going very aggressive. Arteezy needs to not die before the assistant comes in.
Oh, he does have
There's
the hand of God. Nice play, but it looks like Fada might get him for the backside. Did he attempt to call first as he chases it and he'll end up getting the kill. Now working on to S4, slowly swinging that axe at him, but he needs more backup. Big Daddy TPs in, he repels himself. Now he heals Fada, but that's not going to save Fada. It looks like the one more smack from the Queen of Pain. The dagger finishes her off. Now Zai diving Big Daddy. They've stolen the repel.
Laying into him. 5 damage.
Really?
5 damage.
The Orb of Venom. The slow. The magic damage. It's too much. He's forced off the lane. Oh, that self-repel not doing any favors. Big Daddy. Dink. Dink. He's going to die here potentially. Zai. Oh, quick suicide.
Wow, that looked cool. Where did that assassinate go?
It
looked like it flew up into the air.
As he like suicided, he like blasts off, and then the assassinate like is a homing missile that tracks him down. That was
Just the
cool.
classic Team Rocket blast off, and then the assassinate.
Team Rocket's taking off again.
Oh boy, well, that was all in all, that was 2 for 1, I believe, for Secret. They do suicide Techies, which doesn't really count. So, however, on his kill death score, it's going to show up as a death, and it's going to show up in the overall score at the top as well. But let's keep in mind, Cloud9 has killed him 4 times, or 3 times, and he has 2 suicides. So, effectively, Cloud9 is sitting at 4 kills right now. I have a problem seeing when Cloud9 really starts putting pressure with their lineup into the Secret lineup. The Chen got a good start. Shadow Fiend is getting strong. They have somewhat okay Queen of Pain counters if they get blinks, but until then, she can pretty much move almost without any sort of danger, apart from the Crystal Maiden Ice.
Speaking of the Shadow Fiend, he's going for that Yule's first build, it looks like. Picks up the Sage's Mask. It's something that the North American players seem to really like, whereas you look at almost all the Asian, Chinese Shadow Fiend players, and they're all going mech first. Sometimes back for a Midas. Once in a while, we've seen the Midas early on from some of the Western Shadow Fiends, but this Yule Scepter seems to be the go-to. As we have Sniper Wars mid. Kuroki dishing it back out the other way.
Another rune for Arteezy.
I guess it's the Axe Blink. That's
Yes.
kind of the key thing here, and they are going to have it very soon.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty early blink for Fatsa. He gets it at, what's this going to be? 10.5, which is, of course, he got 2 kills on the Techies in lane. One of them was the first blood, I do believe.
Yeah.
And
one of them
he
was
has
a
50
suicide,
kills,
but
so
then he goes mid. He gets a couple more kills as well. Or is at least involved in a couple more.
This is a funny setup on the screen. Bone 7. They were actually looking at each other, but Zai obviously couldn't see Bone 7, and here comes the duel.
Ooh, free damage.
He
Oh, he might get
be
up
able
to
to
suicide. I
Oh,
think it's
hand
on
of God.
cooldown. I think it's on cooldown, actually.
All that armor, he's gonna live.
For now. As for chasing, he doesn't have mana for the full combination. Axe already picking up his Blink. He TPs in bottom, and everybody pinning bottom now as a smoke gank is simultaneously happening mid. Eternal Envy perhaps about to get jumped. Yep, curl. Oh, that's easy. Toss him, drop him back down. Stop number 1 and stop number 2, and finished off with these. Another assassinate coming out from Kuroki as He'll collect the kill there. The
Very
sniper
s-
mid is just getting bullied all over the place.
That's a very intelligent smoke gank, because usually you're not afraid of the smoke ganks when the mid laner isn't even in his lane, but the 2 supports could take him out alone. So Envy feels safe. If Artur is in the lane, if the Shadow Fiend stands there, you'll naturally just be more observant towards the threat of a gank coming in, but you really don't feel the pressure, and all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere. So very nice gank from Secret. They're probably going to get the tower as well.
You know, I guess the one thing with this lineup, getting that early Yules for Shadow Fiend, it is very good setup for Techies. Used to be just like, I mean, it's a great item to buy just as the Techies if you can farm it, but he's going to be looking for the Shadow Fiend to set him up perhaps. Fada initiating here on the Puppy. He'll be assassinated. The mech comes out. Not enough as the Chop secures the kill, but S4 turns and with Arteezy support delivers a double kill. Now they chase on to Bone 7, still looking for body blocks here. They're not quite getting enough. C9 just getting decimated early on by Secret. Score 10-7, but it's a whole lot worse than that. A 5k gold lead. Now they're pushing out the top lane, and this is the one thing about Techies, is this hero just wrecks towers if he can get up on them and drop landmines.
Yeah, together with Chen, that's a really solid setup for bringing down towers early on. They did get the mid-tier 1 only so far, though, so that's the good thing for Cloud9. I think this early game could have gone worse for them, but at the same time, you're looking at an offlaner who died multiple times, and you're still 5k gold behind 12 minutes in. It's undeniably Techies has died a lot, but he has created so much space as well. The Shadow Fiend and the Queen of Pain have barely been pressured all game. There was one gank attempt on Arteezy mid that failed from the Crystal Maiden. I haven't even seen S4 below half health in this game.
Is that really the Techies, though? I feel like it's much more Puppy and...
It's the combination.
And Kuroki who are putting pressure out.
Yeah.
Like, Techies came mid, and he just fed. You know? He stays top, he dies.
It's a natural thing about the hero, though, that he takes a lot of attention.
I get he always looks like an easy free kill. Like, you see a Techies in the lane, you're like, all right, let's just go collect some gold.
Oh, there's his first kill with mines. He found the
Prince?
Crystal Maiden towards the
right.
bottom lane.
I imagine it's one of the key things about being a really... They catch up Big Daddy here. Now stealing the Repel. Kuroki is just styling on Cloud9. The stolen assassinates, the stolen Repel. This Rubik pick is really paying off. But yeah, mine placement, obviously. Something that I'm sure Zai has put a lot of time into studying and perfecting the best places to drop them down.
Man, these mines hit hard.
Like, even though he doesn't get the kill in Legion, you see he drops the 2 mines. That's exactly where the Legion commander walks.
Yeah.
Secret now going to start pressuring tier 2 Synd. They're getting very aggressive. And we were talking a lot about that new Test of Faith. He's been using it very aggressively all over the map.
Uh-oh.
This could be big. Arteezy, no, unloading the Requiem. He's going to kill off Fada. Who are you trying to dunk, fool? I'm the Swagger Fiend. Now they're turning. Might jump on Eternal Envy here. Coming in is your Rubik, and with the heal bomb, S4 follow-up, they get the double. Snagging 2 more frags. Secret just starting to run away with this game. And there's just no trades for Cloud9. All their cores are dying. They're not taking towers. They're not taking Roche. It's not like they have a ticking time bomb late game carry like they used to pick a lot of the Terrorblade, maybe a Lycan, you'd say, to some extent. They don't have that Synd.
Yeah, I feel like Secret are just playing freely. The whole game, they've just been doing whatever they wanted to do. Apart from, I guess, dying a bit in the offlane. That's generally not something you want to do sometimes. Oh, well.
Oh, my goodness.
Very
Can't
quick
even
kill.
get off a spell. Big Daddy gets slaughtered mid, and Secret just keep on pushing.
All right, so I'm curious about your opinion on this. Let's say, because this is obviously going to be the talk of the game no matter what, right? Whenever you pick, it's the same in the past. Whenever Meepo was picked, Meepo was always the focus of the game from a spectator standpoint, regardless of whether he won or lost, how much he really did. The talk was always, okay, how much did he do? Was he really that good? So with Techies, it's going to be the same story. Do you feel like Techies has provided a lot in this game that another hero couldn't have done? Was it a better pick than more traditional offlaners so far? Like, have we even seen Techies be that useful yet? I feel like he's just been... Okay,
well,
there we go. That's another... He's got 2 mind kills now in Misery.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like we haven't seen his full potential, and we're starting to.
I'm wondering if Zai could have played... So far in this game, could have played almost any hero in the offlane, and it would have been the same story. And so far, I feel that way.
I think up till now, yeah, the Techies is not winning them the game, but you mentioned some elements which are a little bit harder to measure and evaluate when it's this one-sided, like map control. We haven't seen the Techies teamfight presence, which, if you get off a good stasis trap, that can be completely game-changing. One of the strongest teamfight abilities out there. Imagine a stasis trap into a Requiem into a Queen of Pain ultimate. that's a fight over. Like
Yeah,
you're not winning.
It's
that
a
if you're
4-second stun and a 10-second cooldown, which is not an ultimate. So it is pretty crazy. But it's also very difficult to pull off. Actually, it could be interesting to see that together with a Naga Siren. Like sleep the enemy team, you play
Actually,
stasis
that
traps,
could
and
be
then you
really
wake them
cool.
up. Something like that.
And they're less glitchy in Dota 2 than they were in Dota 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've just scratched the surface.
It's kind of like a poor man's black hole in a way, if you Naga Song into stasis trap.
That's
But
true.
I don't know. I can't remember how big the trigger AoE is, though. But I want to say the stun AoE is larger than black hole. On it
Let's
when
see.
it
Does it
triggers.
say on the ability?
But
He hasn't taken any points.
450. That's the trigger radius.
Uh-oh.
But-
Here's your Requiem. Kaboom!
Okay. There was a sniper there a moment ago.
Yeah, and now there's not. Just burnt by the black flames of Artesius.
Here comes the blink dagger for Legion Commander. I think this is gonna be
Trap radius 450.
yeah,
That's pretty big, actually.
that's pretty big, yeah. So, well, if you're Cloud9 right now, I feel like you've lost all map control. So you're losing out massively on gold. They might not realize exactly how far behind they are, but they know they're really far behind. They're a very experienced team. So generally what you do at this point if you're this far behind is you try to push out lanes and go for a smoke that's as little obvious as possible. But at this point with all the mines all around, they don't know where they can smoke, first of all. They don't know where they can run. And even if they smoke, they kind of need an exceptional opener where they fight in an area without any sort of mines, where they get ideally they open on Chen because he's really countering the plan they have with the duels, with the Culling Blade, and with the Assassinate, which is to burst down single targets. Puppy is doing an excellent job this game at waiting as long as possible and using the heals and making them think they can get the kill. Instead, if he uses Hand of God early, they just back out. They're like, okay, we're not getting this
The kill on Arteezy that they thought they had.
Yeah.
The Hand of God was held until the last second.
There's been 2 or 3 of those already this game. And we do see the smoke, which I think is not that obvious, but can they find the opening? They're going to need more than just a single kill on Kuro. That's not going to cut it, but it's what they're going to get.
And there are some mines to the north. Potentially, Kuroki can lead them into these mines if he runs. No, gets chopped. You know, the one thing, Sin, that I feel like where the Techies pick is going to shine, we're talking about map control, is much more so when your team's ahead. Maybe the Techies is feeding, but if you have the advantage, then it's obviously Gem is probably the absolute best way to deal with the Techies. But Cloud9 are not really in a position where anyone can be walking around with a gem. They're very easily picked off. Shadow Fiend is that Yules, so it's a guaranteed single hero kill if you just get off the Blink Yules Requiem combo. Nobody has a
Yules
BKB.
too.
Yeah, now they have double Yules combo. So when you're ahead like this, you can't really get a gem. That's where the Techies map control factor really comes into play. And their lineup
He was really close to walking into that.
their lineup does seem like it's designed to get ahead pretty early. The Chen Rubik, very strong in the laning stage. Shadow Fiend this game, I mean, had
Arteezy?
help to get ahead. And Quita Pain's a lane dump.
That was not the plan.
Definitely not. He just wanted to let them know he had a Yule Scepter. Just making sure.
He felt like the style points were more important than the X kill, I guess. I don't think he kills him anyway. He blinks out probably.
He's got to show Jackie Mao a little friendship and love. He's been pretty merciless here. How far out of it do you think Cloud9 are? Do you see a potential comeback brewing for them, or is this pretty lost to you?
It's pretty lost, and it's just the gold lead at this point in time. It almost doesn't matter what lineup Secret are running. If you're like 12,000 gold ahead, 19 minutes in, I don't know what the comeback ratio is in this kind of games. It's got to be less than 10%. But in addition to that, like you said, Techies is really good when you're ahead because of the map control. So the way you usually come back in situations like this is either the leading team overextends entirely and gives you multiple free kills or something like that. Or you bait a fight into the Roche pit and you have the better Roche lineup, which is also not the case.
Yeah.
Secret has great AoE heals, sick AoE damage, and they have a really farmed Shadow Fiend who already has the Aegis, so the Roche isn't even going to be a thing yet. Or the final option is that you take a really good defensive fight inside your base where all your abilities are layered perfectly, but it just seems so extremely difficult for them to find any more than one kill. That's the problem with their lineup, right? They have really good single target. Sniper hits hard on a single target. You have Culling Blade, you have Duel. Beyond that, what do you do after you kill the first hero? Like, how do you progress into the fight unless Sniper is ridiculously farmed? I just don't see it.
And that's even if you get that first kill. Shadow
Yeah.
Fiend is Yules, Techies has Yules, Shadow Fiend is BKB, Quap might be able to blink out. Kuroki, you mentioned the Rubik is a great way to counter-initiate against a duel or even an Axe call. And they have Chen with Mech and Hand of God level 2 building towards Ags, so that's even assuming you get that first kill. Speaking of kills, Arteezy, now gonna
that
find
was
Fada. Oh no,
not a good
BKB, Requiem. He does get off the call though, the Requiem not quite perfectly timed. And as a result, Fada will run for now, but they blink forward. Scream now from S4. Shadow Strike. He'll blink out.
Zai died in the meantime to Eternal Envy in the bot lane. He did suicide though, so not really giving anything away. And of course when you suicide, that respawn time is so low. He's already back again.
Yeah, wow. The other thing that's interesting, I guess this game is, even if you see the mines, you still have to be able to kill them. And they have 3 heroes you can't go and kill the mines. Axe, Omni, Legion. The 2 heroes that can are fairly immobile. Sniper and Crystal Maiden.
Extremely fragile too.
Yeah, you go into the mines, like you have Mask of Madness to try to run away, but Yule Scepter Blink is normally going to be more than enough to catch that sniper out. And once you're caught out, like you're saying, you're fragile, you're easily dealt with.
How many mines are there? I'm not sure. It looks like 2 or 3.
I feel like there needs to be an easier way to count them just while you're spectating.
Oh, Weapes is trying. He still has no idea how many there are.
No, it's more just like a UI thing. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Maybe they do different colors.
It
for
is
each mine or
actually. If you
something.
put a lot of mines on top of each other, it's like impossible to click how many there are. So, would be nice if you could just mark them like he tried there.
Well, you can always try to find out just by walking over them.
How
Well,
much
tell you by
damage
the
is
fact I'm dead.
So I have 8 armor and I took 1,500 damage. So I think there were 12 mines, guys. Here goes.
I died
Fada.
at least like 6 times over, so that's how many mines there were. Bottom lane though, jump in from Arteezy. Requiem, he kind of walks around and decides just to smack Eternal Envy. Wants to hold on to the Requiem. He's going to get some CS. Arteezy going to deny that last creep. That is some serious hate for his boy Jackie Mao. Oh my. These guys both think on the exact same wavelength too. That's the funny thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he could have gone for the kill, then he's like, I'm gonna save Requiem. And then Eternal Envy's like, I know I'm dying, so let me get every CS possible. And then Arteezy's like, I know you just want to get every CS possible. You're not gonna get every CS possible.
And then when the duel is about to be over, S4 blinks in and KS is with the scream completely unnecessarily.
Oh my.
Oh, that's hilarious. Here goes the tier 2.
How much confidence do you have to have if you're Secret? And sure, I'm sure Cloud9, they're a team that is pretty forward thinking. But Techies, end of the day, is just not a hero that's on most teams' radar. You're winning with Techies, and you're doing it just in a total one-sided stomp. That has to be good for your confidence.
Yeah. I think the story so far of Secret's biggest successes so far is that... do you consider first phase banning Chen against them now is the question? Because we've talked...
I think you strongly consider
We
it.
honestly still don't... We don't really know how good Chen is getting, but you talked about how the ramp-up with Holy Persuasion is a lot better. You get 2 creeps at level 3. You have 4 creeps at level 7.
Yeah, you were mentioning the Test of Faith split pushing.
You can split push with Test of Faith. You can build lineups around Chen in a different way, where in the past it was more of a risky push kind of lineup, but you can see you don't need to play it like that at all. You can gank with him earlier. He farms better because he has another creep. He split pushes so he pressures the map. It's a totally different hero now. And Puppey is arguably the best player in the hero in the world.
And this is not
So
the only
I think it's a worthy
this is
ban.
not the only way to play Chen. Like this style of Chen, it's all about making sure your Shadow Fiend is a good start and then snowballing from there. But you can also do it more like the Hearts or the Hyper Glory team style, where you really focus on getting a quick Ags and then you go for a big timing push with the early Granite Golem, some other creeps as well, and heroes that are more about 5-man tower taking Dota. So it's like you pick Chen, but it doesn't mean you're committed to one way of playing either.
No.
And so yeah, in that sense, it's a very strong pick.
And that's like the, if you want to look at it that way, that's like the main difference to before, is that you kind of, you really focused on one style of play with Chen in the past, and now it's a really open pick. There's nothing that's given. When your enemy team sees the first pick 10, they're just like, okay, we know Puppey's playing it. That's all you know. That doesn't really. Then you can choose not to ban out his other. Oh, okay. There wasn't that many mines there.
Just a love tag.
You can choose to not ban out the other heroes of Puppey then, because you know he's going to be playing that. But that's all. That's all you get out of that as intel. So I feel like that's been the most successful hero of Secret so far, and they've all played extremely well. But it really brings their lineups together.
I feel the Lycan's the other big one. We didn't see it this particular game. It seems to me like part of what Secret's trying to do this tournament is show that they can win with a lot of different things, so that you don't have a clear one ban to rule them all. And not all, of course, you show you win with them, but then you're also practicing those other styles so that you can win with them if you need to turn to them. So it makes it very difficult to draft and play against this team moving forward, even looking towards the bracket, which at this rate it seems like they're definitely getting into.
Yeah, they've. Apart from the one game I cast of Secret yesterday, which was against
the Hellraisers game.
Hellraisers, exactly, where uncharacteristic for Secret, they lost their tri-lane really hard. They lost an aggressive tri-lane. They did not have Puppey on the Chen. He was playing Dazzle that game, and then they had a Visage on Kuro. and Arteezy was the Lycan you talked about in that game. But they lost their tri-lane. Their two other cores stepped up and played amazingly though. But S4 and Zai hands down carried that game completely. But they still have weaknesses that you can exploit once in a while. And apart from that, somewhat weak showing against HR, where that one lane went wrong, but then they played exceptionally well after it. There's not that many weaknesses they're showing.
It doesn't seem like there's a weak link. Like this game, Arteezy got a lot of help from Puppey and Croaky, and then he's taking over the game. You get the haste rune, dives mid, gets 2 kills on a sniper and a support, and then makes it out as well. There was the game yesterday where Zai was on the puck, and was that the Hellraisers game?
Yes.
Where he just single-handedly, with a little help from S4, just took it over. At the highest net worth is an off-lane puck. And we've seen this game, Kuroki making gigantic plays on the Rubik is, well, Eternal Envy, where you going, my friend? Nowhere fast.
To the grave.
Just for good measure, the Chen creeps come in.
That was a triple raise combo, right?
Compare that to, say, compare that to, I don't know, like you look at HGT, for example, where Icy, if he doesn't get Clockwork, oftentimes feels like a weak link. So far, at least, it doesn't feel like Secret has a weak link. And then it becomes a question of, like, who do you shut down? How do you try to beat them? There's not one player, if you shut him down, then they can't really win from there.
Yeah.
It's tough. But granted, it is early. This is all BO1, but so far that's kind of the emerging storyline it feels for this team.
They do look like after all the games we've seen, like combined in terms of performance over the course of, this is their 4th game, I believe. Over those 4 games, they look like the absolute strongest team in the tournament right now.
EG looks pretty good as well.
But it's a long run.
Yeah, and I think there are teams like that are. I see teams like Newbie, eHome, LGD. I think these teams will continue to get stronger as the tournament moves along. But whether it's them or others, somebody's going to begin stepping up. So as good as Secret looks right now, they just have to take it one game at a time. And end of the day, they haven't actually broken the Cloud9 base yet. We're talking like the game's over, which it feels that way.
It is a 20K
it's over
lead.
and it's not. I feel so.
It is a 20K lead, 28 minutes in. You know the sub 10% comeback rate I said about
this is
the
like
12K
sub
gold?
like 1%.
Now we're like sub 1%, I think. It's not that, I mean, we've seen quite a few games where teams come back from a 20,000 advantage, but it's usually when it's like 45 minutes into the game.
Yeah, this is a
this
28
early,
minute.
that amount of gold relative to the total gold in the game is absurdly high.
And they're just not really pressing it. Like Secret are map controlling, they're keeping the pressure up, but they're not feeling desperate to go and end the game now. Because they also know that Cloud9's lineup it's not that outrageously strong late game. They have Secret has answers for pretty much everything Cloud9 has.
And Arteezy is now double the net worth of the highest hero on Cloud9 almost. He's sitting at close to 20K with 10K on the Axe. Axe out farming the sniper it's not that surprising because it was safe lane, but it has some implications for how the game is going to go later on. Your sniper cannot be playing from behind against this. And he is extremely close to Axe, so I guess they're tied, but the fact is they're still extremely far behind the Shadow Fiend. And
later on, X is just a damage sponge and like a frontline distraction.
So all
Sniper's
the
the one who
farm
has to
on him,
deliver all the right clicks.
I think if Cloud9 could, they would give 5,000 gold from Fata to Eternal Envy right now.
Yeah, I would fully agree. So Zai's going to go for Eggs now. Looks like he just about has it.
Chen has his. Did he take a Golem? Yeah. This might be the timing for them, honestly. They have the Wolf, they have the Golem. This is like the 2 best creeps for pushing the base.
And the Wolf is actually fairly tanky with that Golem
1,000 health. That's
impressive.
And here we go.
Let the siege begin.
What do you get? Shrapnel. Does he get? He gets all 3 charges when he steals that too.
Yeah. And then
Even
he can go
though
and just steal something
Does
else.
Envy have 3 right now? Do you get the number of charges he has remaining, or do you just always get 3? He has 1 remaining. You get all 3 charges.
Oh, that's really
cool.
cool.
That's really good.
And then you can just go and you use all 3 quickly and then just steal another spell.
Or you just steal Shrapnel again.
Yeah, that's true.
If it works that way, that's insane. Like you can
get off easily 6 to 9 shrapnels.
You could just drop 6 shrapnels behind the tower if you could do that. It's like there's no zone.
Bottom lane, big
I guess we're just
initiation,
gonna die
and with the
here.
soul burn, they'll get the kill. Gem though will be recovered by Fada. But now Secret of them somewhat bottled up. It is a Legion commander for Bone 7 pushing the top lane, but he does no damage. I don't think he's even won a duel this fight. Maybe one, but either way, Eternal Envy on the way out. The repel, or rather the Omni Knight ultimate forced out.
Very good call.
Is their follow-up for this. Kuroki dropping low. S4 also in a slight bit of danger, but he's the Aegis carrier. Then Arteezy arrives, and he will Yules that Omni Knight while he chases for Eternal Envy, but he can't actually finish him off. Now the Hand of God comes out. They may have to send Artur back. He's still standing for now. And they will send it back.
So
But they don't actually
lost
break base.
Rubik. They forced a buyback.
And
Suicide.
Jesus.
I don't think he would have died to that assassinate at all, but might have been scared of the axe follow-up, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, assassinating the blink.
Oh, they really want this golem, they're gonna dunk it.
How
That's
does-
without Ags, right? That's like a 1-minute cooldown he spends there, but, well, there's not gonna be a fight happening in the next minutes.
I like how the granite golem explodes in a gigantic cloud of blood. How does that work?
Stone blood.
Not a very clean take by Secret. I really, it doesn't, they did not have to be diving for those kills. They could
Yeah.
just be focusing the tower.
I think the main problem there was that Rubik was too far in. The other two heroes could be far in. The Queen of Pain had the Aegis. The Shadow Fiend was way too tanky for them to bring down anyway. They had the heals ready. But Rubik getting caught is the reason they did not get barracks here. And well played by Cloud9 to focus him down when they get the call. That was the target to bring down. It's the fastest kill. It's the safe kill. And it does make a really big difference that Rubik's out of the picture. That also gets rid of the null field, which we haven't really talked about, but that magic resistance is a big part of Secret's push strat as well. That I feel like whenever Rubik is talked about in competitive play, this is like the thing we never talk about, is null field.
I'd
It's
say like
just
1 out
ignored.
of 10 to 15 games, maybe. Yeah.
It's always the spell steal that you focus on. It's always the telekinesis ganks, and of course the Fade Bolt to clear waves and defend the base and reduce damage during fights. But it's a 15% magic resist aura. This is not the best game for it, but it's really good in general.
Uh-oh, Zai, where
not
you
a
going?
suicide.
And that's going to be a duel 1. Cloud9 getting freebies.
That's the first duel victory of the game.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
gotta
he had
suck.
one other duel. I think that's like his second duel total of the game.
They haven't really been able to utilize the Bone 7 Legion Commander. Still has somewhat decent farm, all things considered, though, so can utilize that damage in the long run if he gets another key item or two, but still looking really grim. They're at least getting a couple of pickoffs here, and they'll be using it to try to push out the bot lane, get a little bit of vision out. They place the ward above Roshan to try to prepare for what might be another fight happening down here, although I think Secret will try to push for the base before the next Rosh. However, they lose the Aegis in, what is that, about 20 seconds, so they might also just wait for the next Rosh. Zai's out as well.
This is another big item for the push. Getting that Shadow Fiend Satanic. He dives deep in the last push, and
That ward stood there for like 15 seconds.
yeah, I think the mine saw him running down to place it, and that's where Cloud9. They have. Did they hold on to the gem after the last fight? Yeah, they have it on Misery, but again, it's like you have the gem. First of all, the mines can constantly be replanted. It's not like wards where you only have a few to work with every couple of minutes. And secondly, you have to be very careful about leaving the base with the gem because of how good the Shadow Fiend and Queen of Pain are at fighting solo kills.
Oh, he tried to TP out, gets Yule. This is a very dead Omni-Knight.
Shadow Fiend, Arteezy just going to work on him. He will pop the ultimate, actually. Just trying to hold his ground here. Mine's being lobbed out in his general vicinity as they will finally bring him down. So that means no Omni Knight ultimate available for this
Rubik
fight.
stole Calling Blade.
And now Fada in danger, being chased down, and looks like he will be finished off. Arteezy sliding in, will clean up Bone 7, now into Eternal Envy, and all of a sudden, the Cloud9 base gets cracked wide open. 4 dead. Maybe another, as there's a Yule Scepter being used, and Misery will fall too. That's 5 dead. Eternal Envy buying back, but he can't stand against the might of Artor. They'll try to chase him, but they're still Satanic. He just needs, Requiem to start, Assassinate coming out. He will get off the slow, now he runs back in. And
He's going to reach him. Oh, he gave up on that. Oh, yeah. Yule's is ready now, though. I think he could have got the kill, but Puppy's like,
come on, buddy, what are you doing?
Arteezy, end your crazy adventures. Let's win the game.
Secret slightly distracted in their efforts to break this base, but not too much. Well, Sin, how much do you feel was the Techies? I guess that's the final question.
How big a part of the win?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somewhat similar or lower percent to a strong offering. I mean, at the end of the, it's
He wasn't
like
like
you
a
said,
huge liability. He had some impact.
Yes, like you said, it's very difficult to measure how important the map control was, but I think the bigger part of the map control is the towers they got early. I don't feel like Techies was necessary to claim those.
Yeah.
And they map controlled very well. I still think most important part of the Secret strategy, we've seen it twice or 3 times now, Chen, Shadow Fiend, I think it's their dream opener. If they get that, it feels like they can pick anything they want with it. Chen secures the early game. You see Puppy's even only part of 4 kills out of how many, 25 or something? It doesn't matter.
He won mid lane for
He won the
Arteezy.
mid lane, he pushed the towers, he put pressure with the creeps, he had the auras they needed. They couldn't deal with that at all. And like you said, it's a huge confidence boost for Secret. They've pulled out the Techies, they won with it. We might see them use it later on, and if nothing else, they've planted a seed in the back of the other team's minds that they have to be aware that it looks like Secret don't really I don't give a fuck, dude. They'll pick whatever they want.
And we're back with
Somewhat.
and we're fixing a mic. Poorly.
We're trying.
There you go. That's
The wrong side, yeah.
that's
no,
fine. No,
you're
that's
good.
fine. That's fine.
You're good.
You're good. I mean, technically, yes, you're correct, because if you're if you're on the right side, you have to have it here so that when you look at the camera, it doesn't matter.
Right,
Anyways, welcome back, Lumi. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Did you watch the game? I mean, you were casting another game.
Yeah, but our game ended pretty quick, and I managed to sneak into like during the halfway point. I saw a Techies.
Mm-hmm. Were you impressed by the Techies?
I think it didn't really like made the game advantageous for them. I didn't feel it did a lot apart from the map control and stuff like that. They were already having such a huge lead. I didn't see how the early game went, so I can't really say what he did in the.
He died a lot in the early
He
game.
died
Three
three
times.
times in the lane. One was suicide.
Yeah.
He got first blooded, then he suicided, then he died again, and then he died again somewhere else. I think.
Yeah.
He was
So-
0-4.
So it was just part of a point that they wanted to prove Techies is not 0% win rate in competitive scene.
I guess.
Maybe. Although I mean, in Techies' defense, he was level 5-6 minutes into the game. So even though he was dying a lot.
He was also solo off lane.
He
I mean,
didn't
that
do,
has
he didn't
to
do
happen.
much with it though. I mean, maybe Techies is incredibly strong in game winning. This was not proof of it. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chen,
It would
on the
have been
other hand.
interesting to see them win if the early game didn't go well, and Techies played a huge role in their defense and coming back into the
Right.
game. But I mean, when you're 15k gold ahead at like 20 minutes, then you could pick anything, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I
it-
think Zai could have left the game and they would have won.
I was talking to Mr. Parker a while ago and was thinking maybe it's a morale move, like a move that you wanted to dance the enemy's morale. You know,
Yeah.
how
That's what we were discussing
yeah,
as well.
It was like Arthur and Jackie, and if you do something like Jackie is a really emotional type of player. If you do something like this to him, you beat him with it. It gets to him. It's gonna.
It's about
and
planting
it's,
a
and
seed
it's
for the
also
tournament, I
about
think.
building their confidence.
Yeah, like-
and making other teams
like
wonder.
what if the next
It's like Navi with Pudge
the
and
next
TI3.
BO3
Yes.
the next BO3 secret plays Cloud9, and at the back of their mind, they beat us in the group stage with Techies.
Yeah.
It's
Ban at first phase, man.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
give them the Chen Shadow Fiend as long as they don't get that game-winning Techies that they
it's,
just
uh,
had.
it's
Still,
it's a-
we talked a lot about the Techies. The way that Cloud9 opened this draft was pretty weird. Like, they go
Yeah.
for Axe, Omni, Legion as their first three picks. That
maybe-
is not a very well-rounded open. You go for those three, you pretty much you're committed to a certain style of laning. You're not going to apply that much pressure early. Compare that to how the draft was opened by Secret. It was
Yeah.
just a much more versatile opening. They could have taken a lot of directions. Yeah, it ends up with Techies, but it's not like they were committed to something like that.
Yep.
So I think Cloud9 have to look at this and question how they open the draft.
Maybe they will have some more strategies. This is not their only game today, actually. If we look at Cloud9, Cloud9 is going to be playing today versus Big Gods at 12:30. Versus Wildcard 1 is Navi, I guess.
Yep.
So versus Navi at 3:30. Those considerably easier games than Secret, but I mean any game is easier than playing Secret.
And
these days.
Hellraisers at the end of the day, it looks like. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Oh no, I missed that. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's a good point from Winter. It's these players are pretty emotional. I want to say
Cloud9 is the most emotional team.
it's a very emotional team. Eternal Envy, Fatsa is also a very emotional
Yep.
player. If things start going wrong and you start losing to this, if they lose confidence, they could
yeah.
pull a CLG.
If it gets
Yeah.
Ah.
in
if,
theory,
if
right?
it gets
Or
to them,
TI3.
it's
If it
gonna-
gets to them, they could
yeah.
lose all momentum. If
Yeah.
they pull it back, they could be back as strong as they were in the start. Or
But
even,
I
even
will
stronger,
say I will say this team is a lot different because they have Big Daddy now, and that guy is like indefatigably positive. He is, no matter what, even if the team's losing, he's always, what can we do to play better?
You say that, but that is also a sign of being emotional. Positively emotional.
still very emotional.
But it's a helpful emotion.
and then
Yeah.
the others are like, "You're too happy."
Yes.
No,
Stop
we want to
being
be
happy.
angry.
And
We
you-
I mean,
don't
I
wanna be
was
constructive.
adminning one of their games at the summit, and they were losing really hard, like all three lanes, and he was still like, "What do we need to do to win?
Guys, we can
How can we
still
come
do this.
back?
We
You know,
can
like,
still do this."
Let's start
Yeah.
with this." He kept the team focused on objectives. It's not like, "Yeah, guys, everything's great. We're owning." It was more like, "Let's not start bitching. Let's make sure we're focused on what we need to do
Yeah,
to win."
it's like
So
a very positive atmosphere, even though they are losing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he has a very grounded, positive presence. I don't know how he's fitting with Cloud9, but at least with Secret, that was the case.
Yeah, we'll see. And the teleprompter is telling me that all games this hit done. I am Ron Burgundy. We can watch the standings,
Ooh,
And they
do they like evolve and
kind of like this.
Da, da, da.
I like how the whiteboard's peeking out in the corner.
There we go.
Yeah, the whiteboard is
It's
So-
like creeping on the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have Team Secret and EG, both Western teams, doing perfect.
the teams
Ooh.
that people weren't so sure about after the roster change.
Your
Yes.
Star Ladder Season 10 championship.
10 champions, yeah. That neither of them plays season 11. Well,
Yeah.
Secret played but dropped out.
But with the rosters being switched up, man, that would be fun if they're both undefeated by the time they play.
That would be
Spicy.
something.
Are they playing tomorrow?
I don't know, but they're not playing
Yeah.
today.
They're not
today.
playing today, yeah. Rave still there, 3-1. Vici Gaming 3-1 after defeating Stomping IG.
They stomped IG really hard that game.
We have Winter, he was casting that game. What went wrong for IG or what went right?